Yes, I'm quite satisfied with the area that I'm living now. First of all, the living environment is quite comfortable and convenient for me. There are various kinds of amenities such as shopping malls, supermarkets, public parks, schools, and hospital. Besides, my neighbors are indeed hospitable and kind-hearted, and they are constantly eager to lend a helping hand whenever I need assistance. I'm living in the suburb area of Shanghai. According to my observation, there were not many shopping malls, restaurants, or public transports a few years ago in my area. But currently, more supermarkets, shopping malls, public transportation system have been built for residents in my area. So I believe there has been a significant development in my living area. Yes, I've seen a quite famous person who lives in the same neighborhood with me. His name is Chen Long, who is a well-known actor in my country. The first time that I met him was on my way to work in the morning. He was watering his flower in his yard at that time. He seems very friendly, and he also worked as a volunteer during the 3-month lockdown in our neighborhood this year. So I think he's a very nice guy. I like to go to the public park that near my neighborhood, where I usually go camping with my boyfriend, play sports, or just wander around at my spare time. It's a good way for me to keep fit and help me to relieve my stress after a back-breaking day at work. Yes, I have known many of my neighbors during the lockdown in Shanghai this year because all the citizens were not allowed to go out of our neighborhood during the lockdown. When we were lack of something like salt or onions in our home, we could only ask help from our neighbors. They are quite hospitable and kind-hearted, and they are constantly eager to lend a helping hand whenever I need assistance.
Where do you like to go in that area? It has to be the Botanic Garden in the neighborhood, the National Botanic Garden of Southern China, which is right next to the building complex where I live. It is just this huge area of pristine forest with towering trees. It has always been a popular tourist destination and a must-go place for photography fans who will dress up in fancy clothes, like special costumes, like the clothes only ancient people would wear, and do photo shootings there. I'm telling you, it's quite spectacular to see all these characters from different time periods wandering around in the same woods. And I visit it on a weekly basis with my 1-year-old so that she can get close to nature and enjoy some fashion shows simultaneously. Alright, the second question is, do you know any famous people in your area? Truth be told, I don't think we have celebrities of any kind in the neighborhood. Not that I know of. Of course, I could have just jumped to the conclusion under the false impression that celebrities with money and fame must all choose to live in some upscale communities in the city center, places like Zhujiang New Town or Ersha Island, which allegedly has their fair share of celebrity residences. But I live on the outskirts. It's a decent place with good and safe environment, but it's just not glamorous enough to accommodate celebrity. Alright, next one is, what are some changes in the area recently? Oh, it's gonna be difficult for me to come up with some changes in the neighborhood like off the cuff because I'm normally very absent-minded when I'm walking on the streets and do not pay attention to what's going on around. With that being said, I do notice there has been an increasing number of new shops, like new restaurants serving exotic food and small boutiques where you can spend a delightful afternoon sipping coffee and while picking up on the latest fashion item. Alright, the last one is, do you like the area you live in? Oh yes, I very much do, because to begin with, we enjoy great convenience of public transportation I mean, we got a huge subway station right in front of the building complex where I live, and also several bus stops in the vicinity, all of which are within walking distance. And I don't know how to drive. I didn't even get my driver's license. I didn't even try to get it. So, and my work is kind of itinerant, so easy access to public transportation is of great importance to me.
Do you like the area that you live in now? Yes, of course. Currently, I live in an area which is not far from the downtown, but is very quiet. Also, life here is very convenient. I mean, you can buy whatever you want, no matter by placing an order online or just going to the real stores. How has your area changed in recent years? Well, to be honest, I moved to this place like a half a year ago, so I'm not quite familiar with this area. But I know it has been designated as one of the international business districts on the national level a few years ago. So many big names and some newly founded startups have headquartered here. Do you know any famous people in your area? Frankly speaking, I don't think there are some famous people or stars living nearby. I mean, it's just an ordinary residential block. But if you define the area as a whole city range, I can name quite a few. Where do you like to go in your area? I often meet with my friends in the shopping mall, which is not far from my apartment, like 10 minutes ride if you go by car. And there's another place I often drop by, which is the local grocery market. I always grab some fresh fruits and vegetables there.
Question 1. Where do you like to go in that area? Well, personally, I really enjoy going to the library in the area because that library is pretty close to my house. Usually, it just takes me around 10 minutes on foot, so it's quite convenient for me. Whenever I am available, I can just go there directly. And also, I think because the library is well furnished and well equipped, so the lighting condition is pretty good. And also, I can borrow whatever I want to read just because of the fantastic collection of books. Question 2. Do you know any famous people in your area? Well, actually, I'm not an expert of local history, so I don't really know any famous person in my area. But I do know that my grandfather can be a little bit famous because he used to be a very famous mathematics teacher, and so many people really wanted to send their children to my grandfather's classroom, just because my grandfather's class was really effective, can really improve students' learning performance and also the academic performance, I guess. Question 3. What are some changes in the area recently? Well, changes maybe the building. In the past, there were so many low-rise buildings. Maybe the highest building was only 3 stories or even 4 stories. But nowadays, there are so many high-rise buildings. The building is much more taller than before. Maybe in the future, I guess, maybe we even can have some skyscrapers, just like some metropolis, in China. Also, another changes that I want to say is the educational resources. Recently, the local government just issued a new policy and try to create some incentives to encourage more professional and qualified teachers from other city to my city, because in that case, they can really release the educational stress and also can balance the ratio of teacher and students. Maybe in that case, the educational situation can be better and also the efficiency of learning and teaching can be improved. Question 4. Do you like the area that you live in? Yeah, of course, I really like this city because there are so many exciting things to see and do. For example, like during the weekend, I can with my friends to go shopping or just go to the shopping mall to do the window shopping, which means even though we don't do anything, we don't buy anything, we can just enjoy. We can just watch. Just watch some various type of goods and comedies. Yeah, and also if I wanna meet some culture, I can just go to some museum or some libraries or something like that. And also, even though the public transport is not really satisfying, the price is quite reasonable, so I can really afford it even though I am a student.